afternoon, Ms. Chichester, and thank you for having me interview you today.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Today our interview is based on diversity and leadership in education. And I have a few questions for you. So, because I know your school have a lot of diversity in it, inclusion, and we take special care of our children here. So, you've been in the teaching profession for a number of years. I said you're the best person to ask these questions.
Well, I hope I can answer you, to the best of my, or what you expect, to your expectations.
Yeah, well, I've seen the diversity in the classrooms. I've walked around the school, so I know there
Nice.
is
Very
inclusion in the school.
Good.
So, and our country is full of different people. We have multiple coming in most recently, so we have that inclusion there.
I understand.
Yes, yes. So, my first question is, do you consider yourself an inclusive leader?
An inclusive leader, yes, I definitely will consider myself an inclusive leader. And not only in terms of culture, but various other aspects in terms of, for example, there is race, there is gender, I will say gender. We look at differences in terms of ability, like kids with learning disabilities, the special kids, as we call them. And so I try my best in all aspects, to include the kids, the teachers, the parents, in all aspects of our school and our school's program.
But that is very good because now we are seeing more children. Children are having a lot of learning problems. So it may not, they are not catered for like the reading aspect of it. They're more to the hands-on type of program. Do you have something like that too?
Well, what we do at our school, we do what we call differentiated instruction. And we have, based on the kids' abilities, we have groupings and so on. So there are certain subjects where we may have them in a group like an ability group, like equal ability. And in some cases, we have them in mixed abilities, whereby they can feel as though they belong to,
Yeah,
and,
so
and
not
don't
excluded from that.
exactly, and don't feel
Very
as though
nice.
they're different in
Yes,
any way.
yes. So they don't
Right.
feel left out. My friend is in this group and I cannot be in
Exactly.
that group.
So sometimes we have them all mixed,
Very
and the
nice.
next time we decide, well, okay, we do ability groups, and so
Yes.
that's how we.
Yes, so they can even learn off of each other in the large group setting. Okay, very nice. So can you tell me one quality you possess as an inclusive leader and how it helps the school?
Okay, so if I think of the qualities, there's so many qualities that I would say I possess a few of
Yes.
those, right? I wouldn't want to make myself sound as though I
Have
have it
everything.
all together, but one of the most important qualities that I will say that I possess is called what I call cultural intelligence.
You're
No,
affiliated with all
that
of
is, as you rightly said early on, in Guyana, we are dealing with 6 ethnic groups, right? 6 different ethnic groups. And now they are all, I can now say we're probably having more because there are persons who have come into our country. You have people coming from, like, have the Spanish people, and there are others that are coming, the Chinese. Well, but the Chinese, they're part of our 6. So, it is important, right, for me to have the quality of cultural intelligence is very important to me because if you're not aware, if you're not conscious, if you are not aware of the different or the diverse cultures in this country and their background that they come from and understand things like their celebrations, their dress, their regular, their day-to-day life, how they live, the things they do, and so on. By understanding, by having an understanding of the different cultures, it helps me in the management of the school, right? It helps me. It helps me in so many ways because it can help me to make decisions, make right decisions, and avoid doing the wrong thing that can impact a race or an ethnic group
Yes.
or
You
the
don't want
other.
to cause that
Right?
stigmatism.
Yes. So as Guyanese, our motto is one people, one nation, one destiny.
Yeah.
And it means therefore that we need to see ourselves as one, regardless of our race, our and so on, culture.
Yeah. And that is very important for children to learn at an early age, so they grow up with that as a foundation there.
Exactly, which makes it easier for the next generation.
Yeah,
right?
they pass down.
Because in the past, in some years gone by, you find coming out of Guyanese, coming out of a culture where there was colonialism and all these things, you find that some of these biases would have been handed down to our generation, where some parents might look at you and say, I don't want my child to play with you because you are different in one way or another. But by helping our young kids now, to understand that what matters is our friendship,
Not the color of your skin.
and not the color of your skin, your race, your hair, whether you look right or not in my eyes, or and so on. It makes it easier for everybody.
Yes, it does.
Yes,
It
and
does.
for our country as a whole.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is very important because with so many things that are going on in the world now, we want that unity there with our young children growing up so that they can pass it down to future generations. Very nice. Thank you. My next question is, do you embrace and celebrate the various cultural observances and gatherings?
Definitely, most definitely. And I know you can attest to that
Yes,
because
I
you
can.
passed through, walked through
Yes.
everything, and you would
Yes.
have seen and even might have seen us on the media, right? The activities we celebrate because we actually like to showcase our activities,
Can
right?
you give me an example?
So, for example, whenever there is Pagwa, which is celebrated by the Hindus, it is actually a whole school activity. We all participate in it. The kids have their powder and their, their beer and so on, and their water, and we actually allow them to have a special session where they can play Pagwa.
Yeah, and it's not just for the Hindu children.
Yes,
in the
it's
school.
everybody. That's what I'm saying. Everybody. And when it is Diwali and so on and the kids prepare foods and they bring it into school.
Yeah.
So you will have when it's Pagwa or Diwali, you will have them preparing their own sweetmeats, their foods, and bringing it in, and everybody participates. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a whole lot.
There's a few things that is there that are my favorite too.
Yes, and I mean, knowing that we have all our teachers also and our parents, not only the children, but the teachers and parents, it helps because everybody feels included, they feel accepted, they feel comfortable. They're happy to have their kids there.
Yes.
When it's Christmas, we have Christmas parties and everybody comes. It doesn't matter whether you're a Hindu or a Christian or a Muslim.
Yes.
Everybody comes to the Christmas parties.
Yes,
right?
they enjoy themselves. They look
Yes.
forward. That is something that they look forward to.
And not only culture in terms of religion, but we have whenever it is national activities like march and so on, everybody is there. As one Guyanese we celebrate. Yes, and we don't see ourselves as oh, you are Chinese or you are whoever. And also we have what we call culture days. On culture, when those days that we have culture days, we have all the different ethnic groups, we have foods from all those groups, we have children come dressed in their cultural wear and so on. And guess what? What is most fascinating is that the Indian kids are wearing African wear, and the African wear, you see that African kids come, some dress in China, it doesn't matter who you are, some come as Chinese, Indian
Yes.
come as Chinese, Africans come as
Yes,
Chinese,
yes.
and as Portuguese and different things, so we're not seeing it. Long ago we used to say, okay, well, you were Hindu, so
Yes.
you got to wear your Hindu wear.
Yes, you
And
can't
if I
wear
am
that.
African, my parent would have
Yes.
sent me with an African wear, but it doesn't go like that now. You know, we switch it up.
Yes, and that's such a beautiful thing. So
Yes.
everybody has the experience of another culture.
Exactly.
So they're not into their own.
No.
And that is such a
No.
beautiful
One
thing.
guy needs celebration. Yes.
Very, very nice.
Mhm.
Why do you think it is important as a leader that we first acknowledge and understand our own biases or stereotype that we hold?
So I think as a leader, it is extremely important. Now, how can I identify and recognize stereotypes and biases, and how can I address those issues if I don't understand them myself? So I first have to know, I mean, I can't say to you I don't have a bias, right? I think sometimes it's even human nature for us to have biases because we actually it's like sometimes some people say to each his own, right? And those are things that came through the generation. So some of those biases have been handed down. We don't even know how
How it started, yes.
right? I would have done some history, and I understand the history of those biases, right? And I know, how they can impact people and the workplace and so on. So I find that by understanding those biases, it makes it easier for me to address them whenever they surface, whether it's by the children or whether if I see coming from parents or from teachers. And I also try my best not to even let it surface. By dealing with it, taking a proactive approach, and I start dealing with it even before it can surface.
You start.
So we try to encourage the children, for example, at assembly, we try to tell them, well, okay, we need to see ourselves as one Guyanese. We're Guyanese, and we're not supposed to see differences. We try, exactly. Now, in terms of making decisions, it helps me in decision making. For example, if I am here and I know that I need to make a decision, I need some teachers to do something for me. I can't go take all the teachers that are, because we're mainly two ethnic groups in here.
Okay.
So I can't go and take everybody from one ethnic group because that would create a problem for me.
Yeah.
Because the other ethnic group will want to know, well, why am I not
Favoritism,
included?
yeah, the favoritism,
Yes, she's
exactly.
biased, she doesn't like me, and so on. So to avoid that, right, I try my best, and I look my whole at me. We try our best to look at it. If we're going to put people in one division, you try to mix it up, switch it up, and that kind of thing. It helps me in, at least teachers can feel as though they are included. This inclusiveness,
Yes.
right?
And it is very important.
Yes, and these biases can stretch across, different levels. You can look at male and female and so on, and they feel as though, well, you only take share
Women,
females
yes,
all the
women,
time.
yes.
What happened to me? I'm a teacher, I'm male, and so on. So by understanding the biases and the trouble that they can cause, I then know how to make decisions so that everybody can feel accepted, feel as one, feel as a part of Team Canadian. They're part of our school and feel motivated, right? Teachers feel motivated when they know that they can be involved. I involve you in a decision making, not because you are of a different ethnic background, or different sex. Decide, well, you are not going to be a part of it.
No
So,
conflict there.
yes, so I try my best to include, teachers, and as I said, it actually helps, right?
I think that is one of the strongest things.
But that's not just yet.
Excuse me. Now look, excuse me, I'm doing something very important. Right. Yes, so Another thing, let me just cut you, right?
Sure, no.
I'm sorry for this,
That's
but
okay.
another thing is by understanding those biases, it helps me also to understand and resolve conflict, right? I can think about, I realize that if I do something that will affect another group of people, conflict is not always easy when it arises. It's not easy to it's not easy to control, right? So it is good to know so that you can go into your day, into your planning, knowing that I need to consider these biases
Yes.
if I am going to make decisions for everybody, and so that I can avoid conflict. It helps in conflict resolutions, because how can I solve a problem if I don't understand stuff? Two of you have a problem and feel that one
Yes.
is discriminating against the other.
And then you side with the.
Yes, and then I may side with somebody. I'll now understand how to make